Happy Halloween, Uglies. It's the best time of the year, and our new EP, the Boulet Brothers All Hallows Eve, is our love letter to Halloween. It's out on October 4th, so follow the link in any of our social media bios and pre-save now to be the first to hear all of our new releases.
From Hollywood, California, the horror capital of the world, the Boulet Brothers, Creatures of the Night.
Welcome, Dark Souls, to another chilling episode of the Boulet Brothers Creatures of the Night. As shadows creep and the night whispers, join us for a journey into the unknown. Lock your doors, light a candle, and prepare for a spine-tingling hour that will haunt your dreams. Ready to face the darkness? Then follow us, your queens of darkness, Swanthula and Drakmorda, as we guide you into the abyss.
That was my part.
I was on a roll. There was no stopping her.
Wow. Okay. You know what? I like it.
Thank
you.
you.
It makes my job easier.
Yeah, there you go. One less word.
Hello, everybody. We are so excited to welcome you all back to a new episode. We have a lot to talk about, so we should just dig right into it.
Let's do it. But before we dive in, because what we are going to be focusing on this episode is the listener questions, right? We have such an excess of them because we've had so much news coming out. We've sort of neglected all of your burning questions, and we want to address them all on this episode, or most of them anyway. But before that, let's talk about our grueling and exciting calendar for the month of October.
Yeah, so everybody knows Halloween is our season, and we'll be quiet all year. And then around September, we come out with everything that you're going to be doing through the fall. So our Halloween calendar is packed, and it kind of starts early in October.
Yeah.
These are our live events. So this is, our Halloween ball. Anywhere that we're going to make an appearance, we're going to tell you all about it right now.
Yes. So starting the first week of October, Drac and I, the Boulet Brothers, will be appearing at both Play Louisville and Play Nashville. So that'll be on October 4th and October 5th. And it's been a minute since we've been to Play.
It has. I really love going there because I feel like we see a really professional set of drag artists every time we go there that we might not normally know about. I just like to be there in their space because it's really authentic, and they're doing multiple shows every night and
absolutely.
everything. It's just fun to see and be around.
I agree. And it always reminds me of when we crossed paths and really kind of got to pick the brain of Jade Jolie when we were there. And this was before she moved to Las Vegas, but before that she was on season 4. And everything does happen for a reason. And we were at Play that night, I think, to just lead to what ends up happening where she's cast on our show.
Now, do you think there is a potential future cast member that we're going to meet at Play this time?
Oh, I love that idea. I kind of want to say yes.
Priscilla Pighoof.
Maybe yes. Oh. And speaking about another really good show, but also you want to be surprised and excited, is the Boulet Brothers Los Angeles Halloween Ball, which is coming up on Saturday, October 26th, right here in downtown Los Angeles at the gorgeous Belasco Theater. And that lineup is going to kick ass, and we won't be announcing until all of that promo is out as well.
Yeah, I kind of want to put it out online. I don't know. I'm superstitious. I don't like to put it out there before the big announcement.
That's right. And in the marathon of Halloween, we're almost done, but not quite, bitch. On October 30th, we will be in Palm Springs for Palm Springs Pride the night before Halloween. Strange, but interesting.
Yeah, they're doing like a Halloween theme because, it's October 30th.
Yeah.
So they're kicking off their Pride with a big Halloween thing. And of course, they had to bring in the Boulet Brothers and our filthy family to entertain the masses.
Also, another Boulet Brothers Halloween house party. And we'll be bringing more stars from season 6, including Scylla, Vivi the Force, and Anti-Heroine.
It's going to be another good show. Oh, and I want to tell everybody, for all of these events, maybe not Play, but you can definitely do it if you want to. Come in costume. This is a Halloween house party, which means you should wear your Halloween costume. So any of these dates, make sure you wear a costume, especially the Los Angeles Halloween Ball. I mean, if you want to get in, that is.
And last but not least, it's Boston, our annual ritual on Halloween night for the Boulet Brothers Halloween House Party, featuring us, Trixie Mattel, and stars from the Boulet Brothers Dragula Season 6, Jaharia, Pie, Desiree Dick, Severity Stone, and Throb Zombie. Ooh.
And that's not all, because the next day we're doing a signing at a horror store close by in Boston, which I'm really excited about.
Me too.
And then we can die for
Then we can die.
3 days.
Then we can go to Salem and rot for a few days.
Yes.
Which is what we love to do.
We always go to Salem on November 1st. And the thing that sucks about that is it is the day after Halloween. You know, Halloween is such a huge thing for Salem. Everyone just sleeps in the next day and nobody opens half their stores. So it's really a strange experience, but it's still fun.
It is. It is. It makes me think of the EP, and it makes me think how amazing and kind of wonderful it's been, the warm response to the music.
I have to thank the fans for this because the response to it has been so fantastic. I think it's resonating with them in the way that we designed it to. Mm-hmm. And I'm just very happy about it.
No, I am too. It's a stroke of super genius, Drac. I give you that credit to mastermind this whole idea. But it just makes so much perfect sense to have a Halloween-centric soundtrack that we created because it's our favorite time of the year. It's a lot of people's favorite time of the year.
Yeah, you know, I love that sort of kitschy retro vibe. Not boofy. It can, you know, you got to be really careful.
A little boofy,
You
maybe.
keep it cool and edgy. Yeah, you know, I love all those old Halloween blow molds and all the vintage Halloween stuff. And to me, this EP is all of that.
That's right.
All Halloween goodness.
The full EP is going to be out on October 4th, so it's very soon. Go ahead and pre-save now so you can be the first to hear all of our new music as it gets released, and you'll get a little preview of a track that you'll see on Boulet Brothers Dragula Season 6.
Yeah, also, we are running a contest where if you pre-save the EP, we're going to pick one person that signed up for the pre-save to win a replica of our Spirit of Halloween jack-o'-lantern.
That's right. So listen, as a reminder, we are going to be getting to all of your listener questions on this episode of the show, but next week and for 10 weeks after that, we are going to begin our post-mortem of every episode of the Boulet Brothers Dragula Season 6. So we'll be reviewing. Ian will be on hand. It's going to be a screaming, cuckoo, kiki, crazy time.
Maybe we'll have some guests this time, too.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to take a quick break, and we will be right back. Hello, my darlings. Welcome back. And also, I'd like to extend a welcome to our cohort in crime, Ms. Ian DeVogler.
Oh my goodness. The second that I heard Halloween blow mold, I thought, oh, that's my calling.
Yeah, that's my cue.
Oh, sorry, everyone. Let me get my lip gloss. Oh my goodness. Y'all are busy, mama.
It's true. I'm excited, though.
What else is new, though?
Yeah.
It's so exciting, seriously, like listening to the insane calendar of events that y'all have planned. I mean, there has never been a better time to be a Boulet Brothers fan or a fan of the Boulet Brothers Dragula, starting the show on October 1st. Ooh, spooky season, mama.
I know. And speaking of the show, let's talk about it now because it has been released out into the world and we're allowed to talk about it now.
The trailer.
The sickening trailer for this season of the show.
Yeah, so the Boulet Brothers Dragula Season 666 trailer was just released. Ian, what is your first impression?
Can I just say gagged? Can I say shook? Can I say shook to death? Actually, well, and the one thing I do want to say, and this is not a bad thing, this is just the first thing that I thought when I saw it is, oh my God, there is so much excellent drag being showcased. I mean, I think the level of drag on the show elevates every year. It just is the nature of the beast, but if this is what's in the trailer, I cannot wait to see what's on the show.
Yeah, because you know there's only certain looks we can share. And look, I know we shared a lot with the trailer. I don't care. I wanted the fans to be fed. I wanted it to grab their attention. So we're like, sure, I don't care. I'm not going to sit down here with like pie charts and graphs. With this many had this looks, and you know what you're talking about.
They'll do
Some
that
people
for you.
Yeah, I mean, you can do it, but it's never right. So enjoy.
For me, the trailer is like a marathon of madness. Like it's so good. And of course, I was so excited to see it for the first time, but it keeps going and giving
going.
and serving and deserving. And then you get the breakdown. Once you think you're done, but you're not done, bitch, because the song changes and then you see all of those amazing guest judges. It's just so good. And I couldn't be more proud of this cast because the truth is their drag was top notch. Their drag is top notch. And we cast them all out of our wild card folder, so we didn't know what to expect from them, and they showed up for the show. It's pretty amazing.
You can totally tell. What an excellent cast. But they're great. Can we talk about y'all's looks, though, for a second? Because, oh, I guess so. Mama, I was gagged. I was gagged.
Well, thank you. One of my favorite looks, my favorite new looks is in the trailer. It's it's like a little black mini skirt with like red piping bat wings at the bottom and a little like bat kind of at the top
Is
of
that
the
the one where
corset.
you're wearing the mask?
No, that's a different one.
That one is cute.
Yeah,
That one is really cute.
My favorite, just from my limited viewing of the trailer, is this dress that's almost sort of like musculature, but they're just like giant tendrils everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god, it's so fantasy. It's so necromancer tier armor. I love it.
Girl, if you were on set, I would have had you carry me around like you did Neo, because you don't even want to know what I had to go through to get into that. But I look good doing it.
Girl, well, speaking of that, there is one look that I just thought, whoever had to carry that fucking Jack in the Box on stage, I'm like, you have truly paid a penance today.
That was a lot.
That's wild.
I want to remind the fans that we all know that it's coming out on October 1st, but I'm just going to reiterate. Okay, if you live on the West Coast, that's Monday night, September 30th. Don't get confused. Like, it comes out at midnight, which technically is October 1st on the East Coast, but here it is 9 p.m. And if you're in the middle, I don't know, is it 10? It's something. It's somewhere in between.
It's 10 or 11. I think it's so cute that we keep repeating this, and we have for years, and there's still a like mass confusion spell that gets cast over everybody that watches the show because they don't pay attention.
Oh, girl, even when I was interviewing the cast of season 666 of the Boulet Brothers Dragula, I was like, don't even attempt. It's all good. I got you. It's October 1st. Don't even worry about the time zone.
If you are doing a viewing party and it's on the West Coast, you really should be doing it on Monday night because it comes out at 9 p.m. It's a perfect time for a viewing party. I think doing it by Tuesday, a lot of people watch it already. So
That is the spicy serve.
yes. And then some people in New York will be like, we're going to do it on Wednesday. I'm like, you're taking it too far now.
Wednesday?
Yeah.
Let them have their Dragula their way, Drac.
Fine. Friday at midnight it is.
Yes.
It's Burger Queen. It's their way. And now, brave souls, it's time to peer into the abyss of your curiosities. We've received your questions whispered from the shadows, and tonight we shall answer them all. So gather close as we unravel the mysteries you've dared to ask.
Bill from Miami writes, happy pre-Halloween, ladies. I am so happy to hear that season 6 is starting soon. I am so excited. I wanted to ask you this question a while back. I was so lucky to see the season 5 tour in Tucson. I live in the Miami area. It was a fantastic show. I loved visiting that city and I love the venue. I wanted to hear your thoughts on the area. I am relocating to Arizona in the near future, and Tucson is in the top of my list.
Well, I hope you like it hotter than hell, because that is my first impression of both Tucson and Phoenix. When I go there, there's family there. There's like a great alternative drag scene there. I think it's really supported, but it's also hotter than hell.
Yes. When we got off the tour bus, I was like, I need to go get a cold brew before we start getting ready. And it was only 3 blocks away, and I thought I was going to die on the street and catch on fire. Yes. So that is exactly what you can expect in Tucson.
Scorched.
Allie from Louisville, Kentucky asks, oh, not a question, but a suggestion. I just saw that you all are coming back to Louisville in October, and I wanted to recommend you all check out Waverly Hills, the old haunted tuberculosis hospital.
How enchanting.
Sounds interesting, but also kind of gross. I don't know.
Depressing, although places like that do feel sort of magic when you go there. So thank you for the recommend. If we have some time off, we'll definitely do that.
I'm hoping we cross some weird haunts, between the two plays because you have to like drive to the next one or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm hoping there's some kind of like hayridey haunt,
Some kind of
we
like
can stop
Kentucky,
it.
Nashville nexus,
Yes.
something strange,
There's gotta
something
be
weird.
something like that.
I was gonna say, I mean, it's no Oregon vortex. But Dexton asks, I've been a mega fan since season 2, and I love all things dark and drag. It is an ambition of mine to one day audition for the show, but recently I've put my personal drag on the back burner and been putting my energy into working with the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, and I was curious, how would it work, or even if a sister would fit into the Dragula-verse?
I think it would work perfectly. I think a Sister of Perpetual Indulgence absolutely could consider their inclusion in that organization as a boon if they were applying for Dragula.
Yeah, I think so too. I guess the only concern would be that a lot of the sisters have their look, and that is their look all the time, no matter what. So you'd have to figure out how you could adapt a nun theme to every challenge. And it could be really funny and could work out really well if you did it correctly, but it would be challenging.
Yeah, and I don't think that's the only way you'd have to go, right? You just have to get
It
creative.
is. It's the only way.
Well, in Drax's book, she loves the rules, but I love to break them. So I think you can be very creative and squirrely with that, and I think you could succeed.
Where's your nun hat this week? You're going home.
That's none of your business, Drag?
You better pray you have it next week.
Oh, well, don't make it a habit.
Oh, I confess that is funny.
Oh, yes! Grace from Seattle writes, Hello, my favorite horror icons and Demon Daddy. I first want to congratulate you guys on the announcement of the new season. I'm so excited to see it, and I can't wait to hear the new music you're releasing as well. I know it's all going to be amazing. And a question for you all is, I was wondering if you've seen the new Beetlejuice movie and what your thoughts are. Also, if you guys would be coming to Seattle in October to perform, I would love to see you guys live.
Well, as we mentioned earlier, are going to be in the Seattle area, not just once, but twice. You can come to both of those shows. As far as Beetlejuice, I have still not seen it. I've not
Same.
seen it. And you saw it, right?
I did.
What do you think?
Without going too far into it, I think that it is the fan service express. If you just want to live in Beetlejuice world, go in, turn your brain off, and have fun. From a narrative perspective, I thought it was really bloated, and I want to fuck Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice. Anyway.
Still.
I haven't seen it. Truth be told, I'm a little scared and apprehensive because I love the original like so many people. I revere it. And I just, when I heard the news that they were making the second one, I was like, oh my God, please do not fuck this up. And I feel like they did.
I just knowing you and knowing how you feel about movies, I would say maybe avoid. But I do think that to give it some props, the effects are wonderful. Like there's a lot of love and reverence for the original there, just not the story.
I think it's safe to say before the next podcast is released, I'm going to watch Beetlejuice, and I'm going to watch The Substance because I wanted to see it. I wanted to see it the second I saw the trailer like weeks ago, and now everyone's seeing it and they're like, it is incredible. It's this, it's that. And I'm like, oh, la, 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 la. I'm like plugging my ears. I don't want to hear anything. No spoilers because I know that movie is going to slap.
1,000,000%. I cannot wait to watch The Substance. Ooh. Leah writes, I always appreciate when a fan asks about how you all stay so positive. A special shout out to Ian, darling. Ian, I really appreciated your input last episode when you said, quote, you should wear positive attitude like armor. I've always related to the quote, do not mistake my kindness for weakness. All my life, people have always said that you're too sweet and you're too kind. And for a while, that always felt like a backwards insult. As if you're kind and then that's all you have and people can walk all over you. Little do they know that with having a positive outlook and being a positive force of nature, negative people don't know how to deal with that. But I absolutely love your spin on it and sounding even more of a force to be reckoned with. Such a fluffy black and pink storm cloud.
I love Leah's insight. Yeah. I mean, literally, I feel like I would say half of that stuff. I totally agree. And I also kind of fall into that category where being nice or chipper or cheery or energetic is somehow viewed as weak. And you're right. Negative people have no idea how to handle you, especially if you have a little spice in you too, like I do. I mean, and then you have to blast them a little bit. They never see it coming.
Oh, that's the real gag, honey. Circus asks, I have seen you recently with Brian Fuller and was curious how you all met and if you have any favorites of his work. Hannibal and Pushing Daisies are my favorite shows of all time besides Dragula, and I think his artistry and vision is phenomenal. You three working together would be a dream collaboration.
Oh,
You
I
know,
love that.
I could see that happening. Yeah, Brian is a pretty close friend of ours at this point.
Yeah.
We see him a lot. We watched every episode of season 5 of Dragula together. We had a little private viewing party that we would get together for. And he's kind of genius, I think, honestly. The thing I was most excited about, which I've talked about on the podcast before, is the prequel series to Friday the 13th, which I'm still so mad that that's not happening. But
It's so
he has
sad.
a new movie coming out, Dust Bunny. I love it. It's so stylish and cool and exciting. Like, stay tuned. I'm sure you'll hear about it soon.
Yeah, we actually got to see it in its stages of being developed, which was a really interesting process. But it's super cool. It's very fantasy and horror, like sort of like childlike terror. It's really kind of cool. The first time we met Brian was when we invited him to the season 3 premiere of the Boulet Brothers Dragula, and he came to the Globe and watched the show and introduced himself. And I thought that was very cool. And little did I know, a few years later, we'd be like hanging out every week.
Yeah.
That is so cool. I have a favorite Brian Fuller project.
What
Okay,
is
cool.
it?
So he wrote a show called Dead Like Me, and it's got 2 seasons. It's like in the early 2000s. It's about this girl who she gets killed by a toilet seat that ejects out of a plane, and basically she becomes a Grim Reaper. And so it's like her and this group of Grim Reapers, and every episode deals with like a new death that they sort of have to like cull from the living. And it's dark comedy. It's super just wonderful and emotional. I watched it with my mom, and it honestly like really influenced like my taste in horror. So
Wow.
cool.
Yeah, that's so influential. I'm going to tell him that too. the next time I
Yeah.
see him.
please, I love Dead Like Me. Seamus writes, hello, Boulets and Ian. My question is, if you could use 3 adjectives to describe the upcoming season of the Boulet Brothers Dragula, what would they be?
I would say high production. Right, that's 2 words, but still. Wild and a little scary.
Ooh, that's kind of good because I would have said wild, chaotic, cinematic.
Oh, I love it.
What about you, Ian? You've seen bits.
Oh, I was going to say ooky, spooky, and boofy.
Perfect.
Halloween from Oakland asks, 1. I need advice. I fucked up my best friendship a while ago, and I miss my BFF every day. I said a lot of hurtful things that I didn't really understand the weight of when stressed, and overworked, blocked my bestie, and haven't talked to him since. It's been over 5 years, but we had been besties for 5 years already, and I haven't had a strong connection since. What should I do?
Well, you're not giving us all the information because you said some whatever things, but you didn't tell us what those things were. So it depends. There's some things you could say that you couldn't come back from. So I don't know. Like, it's hard to tell you what to do in that situation. But if it's been 5 years, time does tend to heal things, but people also grow in different directions. I would predict you will never be able to have as close as a relationship as you did, though I'm sure you could probably reconnect on some level. That's just my
Grim forecast for this friendship. I want to say I agree with you. It will never be the same, but it doesn't mean it can't be something new, something that you can enjoy. I would say lead with the truth and lead with your heart because you can't really go wrong. They're either going to receive you or not.
Well, I hope you have good luck with them, whatever happens. Hopefully it's a positive outcome.
All right, my darlings, we are going to take a quick break, but fear not, we shall return. We are back, and we have our next question on deck.
This listener did not include a name, but I'm just going to read their question. Listen, ghouls, we have heard you gush over your love of animals and the fur babies enough. Spill the tea on your familiars, please. What are their names? Are you dog people or cat people?
All right, I want to finally put this question to bed. We are never going to answer this question, okay? But I'm going to tell you why, so you'll get a little more information than you usually do. I am superstitious. To me, animals are sacred. I love them more than people. And so I just don't even want to bring them into the toxic fandom. I just don't even want to expose them to any of that energy.
I hear that. And I also want to just protect them from the psychic energy. Like, I actually don't even want you thinking about that.
Right,
Like, that's kind of how I
exactly.
feel about it. But I do want to say this. We are cat people. We are dog people. We are bird people. We have had hens and so many other animals, and we do really love and adore them. And I think they're the sweetest things. And if anybody ever hurt an animal, I would destroy them.
Yeah. And I want a Highland mini cow really bad.
Yes.
I want a couple of them, to be honest with you. But I also want a gigantic regular cow too.
Cows are Drax's new obsession, by the way. And I took Drax to the Gentle Barn, which is like a rescue for like farm animals.
The
and
Gentle Barn.
Yeah. And so animals that are like physically, limited or
they were abused or neglected.
Yeah, have mobility problems. Like the Gentle Barn takes care of them, and we donate.
There's this cute little goat there, and this goat had been neglected, and she would stand up on her hind legs, but she would only stand on her elbows in the front. She didn't know how to open her arms up and stand up. And it just, it was a lot to see, honestly. But we went into this little area with just us and her, and it was so cute. And
She was eating blueberries out of our hand. It was
Yes.
so incredible.
God.
but I just got an update today that she walked for the first time on her front legs.
I saw that.
Yeah.
It was exciting.
If you love animals, give to the Gentle Barn. I'm sure you can find it online.
Isaac asks, All Hallows Eve is a deadly concoction of evil, sweet confection. Hee hee ha ha. Are you planning on dropping a music video for this new single? Maybe a full band and backup singers?
A full band and backup singers.
Sister girlfriend.
That's a tall order.
She's talking about that Boulet Brothers budget.
Yes.
We are talking about doing some music videos for the EP, but I'm not positive. You'll have to stay tuned to see if we can find time to do it.
Kate writes, with your show's increasing popularity, how do you navigate the complexities of parasocial relationships that develop with some of your audience?
What does that mean?
So that would be where fans think that they are like better friends with you, or they think that they know you beyond the meet and greet.
That doesn't bother me. I get it. Like, I listen to this one podcast all the time. It's these two women that host it. I don't know them, but if I saw them, I'd be like, oh, we hang out every day. No, we don't. You don't know who I am. But I would feel that warmth towards them. And I think through the podcast, fans probably feel that for the three of us. And I'm open to it. I'm like, I receive it. Because if you're a fan of the podcast, you're a true fan, you're a good and cool person. So welcome to the club.
I think the touring has also sort of conditioned us to be really just open and able to field a lot of people's energies, questions, opinions without personalizing them. We're talking about something we created and their response to it. Mm-hmm. And I think it's a good exercise, and it allows us to kind of float through our world and be unbothered.
Something I tell the competitors, and it's something I strive for, but anybody that works in reality TV really should do. They say don't read the comments. That's real. Don't read any comments online. But that means positive or negative, because fans can hype you up in this really weird toxic positivity. I call it like the Messiah, right? They pick a Messiah every season, and that person can do no wrong. They're not human, and anyone that even looks at them sideways needs to be killed. And I don't like that.
You're talking about the anomaly of the parasocial Messiah.
Exactly.
Michael from Orlando asks, excellent work on the Meet Our Monsters video. I'm curious, did you build the theater that you shot that in, or did you film it at a certain venue?
It's a miniature. I built it.
Oh, yeah, duh.
No, we didn't build the theater. We went to a vintage theater and filmed it there. I appreciate that you liked it, because I was very excited about this. There's a theme to the season of the show that goes right in line with the movie theater, and it'll all make sense as you watch the season unfold.
Michael Duncan asks, I would assume everything is shot in chronological order, but are there times where you have to shoot things out of order? For example, do you do all of the black and white vignettes at the beginning or the end of the season? How does that work?
I mean, we're not going to spill the tea on all of our insider secrets here, but I will say Everything is not filmed chronologically. It's just not functional. It makes no sense. Like when you have certain setups, those setups can take literally, like you're planning for weeks and setting up for hours, and you can't just switch to something else because it happens to be next in the story and then have to come back to that scene. So you really have to think ahead, plan smart, and you'll save energy.
I will say the reality portions of the show, yes, those are shot chronologically, of course, because there would be no way to say, hey, well, next week you're going to get in a fight, so talk about that today before it happened. But the scripted stuff, yes. And sometimes we'll do pickups here and there, which I think are fun because people don't catch them. And I'm like, I shot that 6 months later. But that's okay.
The sneaky VOs are my favorite. VOs being voiceovers, where it's like, oh God, we misspoke in the challenge issuing and that prize doesn't make sense. Well, 6 months later, let me get my podcast microphone out, record it, and send it to sound so they can insert it in there.
Zanonymous writes, one of my favorite horror icons is back, Mick Taylor. So excited they are coming out with Wolf Creek 3. I feel like he hardly has gotten his accolades for the character. Is there a horror character that you feel has not gotten more righteously deserved praise?
Julia from Hellraiser.
Bam. I agree. That's the first thing that comes to mind.
Yeah. And it's not going to happen now, but maybe it could.
It's still sickening when you go back and look at all of her looks, the way that she behaved, her sluttiness, like ruling hell, all of it. Like, I love it.
So what about you?
Oh, I'm going to say Julia too.
Oh, really?
Oh, hell yeah.
Who's Julia 2? I don't know. Is that from Hellraiser 6?
Julia 2 is it's actually in a deleted scene from Hellraiser 2 Electric Boogaloo, which is the Australian release.
I see. So the real Julia melted on the ground, and then this creature crawled out of her and formed to become Julia 2. I get it.
Oh, yeah. Well, they go back to the bed, and it's a whole thing, mama.
I have always wanted Dragula to evolve to where we can have part 2 of people.
Yes.
So it's like Frankie Doom Doom 2. I love that.
That's like classic comic book stuff.
Totally.
Another
they just try to squeeze it by you. Like they're like, it's Dr. Midnight 2. I'm like, what are you talking about? And now I'm going to do it.
So another character that deserves more accolades, maybe even their own spinoff. We've talked about her recently, and I'm going to bring her up again right now. Vasquez from Aliens.
Oh my God.
She deserves it. Give her what she deserves.
Wow.
As if a minigun isn't enough. Samuel asks, one of my favorite elements of the show earlier in the series was the meta-narrative that was formed with the intro sketches. Swanthula, Bring Me the Axe, and the Pizza Boy Murder, to name a few. The contestant murder sketches, and perhaps most of all, the Last Supper intro sketches. While the contestant murders have persisted, I noticed that the sketches are fewer and more abstract, and that the Last Supper conceit of resurrecting the dead has disappeared almost completely. They were fun, creative, and formed a story within a story that made the show stand out further from other drag content that I could name. Is there any particular reason that these have been gradually nixed over time? Barring financial restrictions, would you consider bringing them back?
Very perceptive. This person has insight into the show, and I am grateful that they notice that stuff, all of those narratives that we weave in, and appreciate it.
Yeah, I think we would bring them back. I mean, we didn't really take them away. You got to think the last time we did a sort of proper season pre the book 2 of Dragula was season 4, where we did do intros and death scenes for everything. We didn't do the Last Supper resurrection, and to be honest, the reason we skipped that is because there's so much juicy stuff at that reunion that we're like, we need to save the time for them to fight. So we decided not to do a cinematic intro, and then that just sort of became the new norm. Season 5, we wanted to change things up a little bit, and so we did the intros as horror host characters, as our Boulet Brothers characters. And so the intros and the death scenes for season 5 were really tied to the challenge. We didn't act out scenes per se, but we did, we had our horror host vibe going on, and we introduced the show, which we're the host. That's what we should do.
Yeah.
Right? So, but I think I would go back to the acting scripted parts.
It's an evolution, right? We can't do the same thing over and over because we get bored. And as long as we stay inspired, we'll continue to make the show and move forward. So we kind of wanted to expand and sort of try different things. And I'm happy with what we've done. Can I imagine going back to the more scripted parody narratives? Definitely.
Mike Flanagan asks me almost every time I see him, when do you want me to do an intro for Dragula? So he's like really about it. So I'm like, maybe we could bring him in next season and let him do all of them. And that would be really cool.
Oh my God, that would be so good.
Yeah. All right, everyone, that's all the time we have, but you're going to be hearing a lot more of us soon because, as we mentioned earlier, the next episode of the Boulet Brothers Creatures of the Night is going to be our post-mortem Boulet Brothers Dragula Season 6 recaps. If you have any listener questions for us or a question about the new season of Boulet Brothers Dragula, be sure to email us at creatures@bouletbrothersdragula.com along with your name and where you are writing from. And remember to rate, subscribe, and review wherever you listen to the podcast. That's all for tonight's episode, Uglies. Be sure to follow us on Spotify to be the first to hear the full release of our new EP, the Boulet Brothers Halloween House Party.
The Boulet Brothers Creatures of the Night is hosted and produced by Glamour and Swantula Boulet, along with co-host Ian DeVogler, with music by Neuron Spectre.